you just have to remember that every single recruiter out there is going above and beyond to get you to the requirement, right? There's baseline, there's the requirement, and then there's expectations. And I know last night on the group chat, Trent was like, we should do requirements versus expectations for kids. And I was like, that's dumb. We shouldn't do it. But now that it sounds good this morning, I think we should do it. We should talk about requirements and expectations. Huh, Trent? What do you think?
I mean, you just kind of jumped into it. I wasn't ready for it. And then, my feelings are still hurt about when you told me it was dumb.
It was a stupid idea. And I stick by that text that I sent. But it's popping now. So what do you think?
Well, I think there's a confusion about the what are requirements and what are expectations and how those two things work together, right? And we talk about it all the time. And it came to my mind because we get pithy comments sometimes, and I do like to read the comments. I'm not famous enough to not read comments. And they say stuff like, well, you guys say exceeding the standard is the standard. So doesn't that make that the standard? And I get what you're saying, and some of them are trolling. But what we're really saying is there are requirements, and then there are expectations for the community. And just barely meeting the requirements, you're still falling short of the expectations of the community. You know what I mean? Like going through, we talk about it all the time, and I try not to man crush on Air Force JTACs because they're better. But just being a JTAC versus being the JTACs that I've deployed with from the Air Force are two completely different things because of the expectations of where they come from, right? Being a baseline PJ versus being a really good PJ, like they're so different. So like, I just want to talk about those things and how to set up the expectations of the community in your head as the requirement, as opposed to always searching out the baseline that you have to do to get somewhere. Does that make any sense at all? Or am I still dumb? Aaron, how dumb am I?
Well, you're still dumb, but you said a smart thing just there. I agree with you. And students have this, and I always say, when I say students, people that we talk to, 18 to 35-year-olds that are trying to get in the Air Force, but I apply it to students inside the pipeline as well because it's frustrating. They always want this black and white answer, right? So immediately we're like, well, exceeding the standard is the standard. That is an unofficial, like, Air Force special operations motto. Like, that's on the walls at many units, that exceeding the standard is the standard. So then we have people that want these black and white answers that go, well, isn't that the standard then? Yes, that's exactly what we mean it to do, because it should be this unattainable thing. You should constantly be resetting another bar for the expectation. You want to meet people's expectations, and that never goes away. It doesn't matter if you're day one on the team room or if you're, year 20 inside the team room. That expectation to exceed the standard is always there. And I'll put it to you like this: like, we're getting ready to jump next week, right? The expectation and the requirement are completely different, right? Like, we have some people that are jumping their very first time at the unit, their very first time out of free fall school, their very first time out of free fall jump master school. We have all that happening next week, right? The requirement is that you do the bare minimum. The requirement is you show up on time with something to write with, the right equipment. You're there for jock ups. You're there. You're hustling through your day. That's just a requirement. The expectation is you're helping your buddy out. You're cleaning up after yourself, that you're reviewing the night before, whether you're a day one jumper or a day 20-year jump master. The expectation is that you're going above and beyond. You know what I mean? Like, nothing, this is an ism for me, but nothing makes me more mad than sitting in a brief and having the briefer go, okay, look at slide 1. Oh yeah, the slides must not have updated. So this is wrong. But like, man, that's the baseline requirement, is that you give a brief. The expectation is that every slide is perfect. It's the most updated guidance that we have. You talk like you can present the information like professional. Everything is standardized. You have a good plan up on the board. That's the difference between requirements and expectations. We're not saying wait until you're this superhuman person. We're saying meet the requirements and then find a way to exceed what the requirements intent is, to show me that you care about this event. That's what we mean when we say requirements and expectations.
I think it's the part, the very end that you said there. Show me that you care about it. Because yeah, there are things that we have to do, even in the special operations community, that are queepy. It's not fun. It's just like more admin work I got to do.
It's not cool to care. In today's environment, it's much cooler to be like cynical, and all you ever do is bitch, moan, and complain, and all you ever do is, oh, I can't wait to make a meme about this. I'm not going to say anything to anybody, but I'm going to make a passive aggressive meme and send it in the group chat. Get out of here, dude. Like, I just don't care. Like, I know it's not always fun.
You should care. Not you, but people should care.
Yeah, I should
we're
care.
we're gonna
Right?
we're gonna make caring cool again. I guess I don't know how we're gonna do that, but anyway,
We're not.
we're not.
Yeah.
But anyway, you should care and take pride in everything that you're doing. Like I've been that guy that the slides did not update, or I didn't get around to doing it, or I made a mistake. Like I've been that dude, especially after 23 years of briefing. Like been there, done that, and even now, if I forget to update something or something's wrong in the slide, like man, that's my bad. Or I have a misspelling in an email, or I just use some awful grammar. Like my brain's moving faster than my fingers, which happens all the time, even now. Like I still go back and I'm like, what an idiot, you know? Because I care, because whatever I send out or whatever I produce represents me, you know, and I want to put my best foot forward. And I haven't gotten completely through the episode, Trent, that you just recorded with Lieutenant Greiser, or not Lieutenant Colonel Kreiser, the op psych.
Yep.
And yeah, it's still early. I'm messing up names and rank. See, I care. Hence correcting it. But anyway, you guys were kind of talking about why she likes to work with our community and stuff like that, and it kind of went along the lines of I don't think she actually used the words because you guys care, but it's because you guys are always trying to be the best that you possibly can be. You want to be the best, and she's not the only one I've heard that from. There was a strength coach at the 23rd, Tyler, who said the same thing to me, because he used to work for Oregon's football team. Like he was their strength coach. And I'm sitting here thinking like, dude, you're at a college level freaking football program that, you know, is extremely popular. And you decide to leave that to come work for a bunch of dudes that in the gym that are just knuckle draggers. And he's like, yeah, he goes, I can see where you're going with it, but you don't understand. Like I had to, in that gym with that football team, I had to force them to train and work out. Like they were relying on their God-given talent to be able to like, oh, well, I'll make it up on the football field with adrenaline or my overall skills, right? I'll just be an athlete. He goes, but you guys, you come in here every single day, whether you're hurt, injured, going on a trip in a couple hours, or you just came back from 6-month deployment, you know, a couple guys shot, you know, working through that kind of stuff. He goes, and I have to force you guys to throttle back and take your time and ease into certain things, because you guys will come in here and you want to crush yourselves every single day. And you just want to keep getting better and be the best. And I don't know if that is a something that we breed into our folks, or like, is that a trained mentality, or is that just people have that mentality automatically as they're coming in? I don't know. It's not a question, or maybe it is a question. I don't know. I'm just rambling.
All I heard that we're just a bunch of
We're just a bunch of what? We're just a bunch of what?
Talentless dudes. That's all I heard.
Talentless dudes. Talent versus skill, right? Like it's a great Will Smith video, right? Well, this is one of the stories actually that I use to tell people when they say that, oh, this new generation is soft. This, you know, these people, they're too comfortable, they're too entitled. It's these darn kids, right? So when I was teaching combatives at the schoolhouse, Greg Jackson, that's how I met and became friends with Greg Jackson, because Greg would come in. He's the honorary commander for the PJ Crow Schoolhouse in Albuquerque. But he would come in and he would teach combatives, and I was a lead combatives instructor. So naturally, that's where, you know, he and I, got to be friends. And Greg is always a happy guy. He's like the world's, nicest individual, just as a person. But one day we're kind of getting ready to start, and he said the exact same thing. He was like, God, I'd love coming in here and working out. Because I looked at him and I was like, Coach, you don't need to come in here 1 or sometimes 2 days a week to teach these classes. I could totally teach these classes. And if you just want to come in and kind of make an appearance or whatever. And he's like, you know what, Aaron, I love teaching these guys. He's like, he has something like 135 fighters that he coaches or has living around the Albuquerque area between the different fight promotions and stuff. And he's like, he said the exact same thing. Some of my younger fighters, like I have to get them into the ring. I have to get them training. I have to like coach them through these hard events. He was like, if I walked in here right now and I looked at this group of men and I was like, tear this building down, they would already have some of the walls off before I told them what else I needed. He's like, you don't see that everywhere. But those were students. Those were people in the pipeline that were, and at that time we were PCSing everybody to Kirtland right away. So that was people that they'd been in the Air Force for basic military training. They got through INDOC, they got through dive, and they were at Kirtland. So when people talk about the new generation or whatever, I don't know, man, it looks pretty good looking from the outside in, because that thing that you were talking about, Peaches, is still there. That willingness to go harder in the paint, to, even though you are injured, showing up to the gym and being like, all right, my back hurts, but there's got to be, can I do legs? Can I lift ankles and calves today? Or, whatever that may be, that thing. And I don't know if we find it in the assessment selection process. I'd like to think we do. I'd like to think that when we're going through these development programs and people are going through the development program, we look for that thing, and then we kind of like tease it out in the pipeline and nurture it, so that you have that ability, inside of your person. But I think a good part of it is it's just there. Like, people that gravitate towards these career fields, they want to exceed the requirement. They want to go be the person that is constantly out front and constantly winning. And that's a good thing. We've talked about competition a million times. Competition is a good thing. Competition should not be avoided. It should be injected into everything that you do. Every single thing that you do should feel like a competition. If I lose in Wordle on, like, if somebody gets the Wordle in 3 and I got it in 4, I'm pissed. I'm pissed for 24 hours. And it's not because I'm good at Wordle. I think I'm actually getting worse because I'm an idiot. But it's still a competition. I still want to win. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah, you see somebody that got it in 2 and you're like, God, why am I such
Get out of here.
idiot?
I got one in 2 last week. And I thought I was the smartest person on the face of the earth. Go figure, me being a narcissist.